Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. And this is kind of a pretty notable one. New product coming out that we didn't know about before, somewhat kind of important. So this is going to be the Avatar board game, or I suppose specifically the Avatar The Last Airbender adventure board game or adventure game. So this is going to be a Kickstarter product that will go live first quarter of 2023. As you can see here, they do have a website here. Now the question obviously is, how do we actually hear about this? Because you think we just went through a New York Comic Con. Did it come from there? No. The actual source on this is quite interesting in that I was notified of this by Kainorian, who was told about this by someone named Iser, who attended a German like board game convention basically, and at that event there was a booth there run by the people who at Bad Crow Games, and they were basically handing out flyers about this upcoming game. And so that's what I have here. You can see some of the kind of leaflets that they handed out about it. Avatar The Last Airbender adventure board game. So some new art in a way that we haven't seen before. Like this Aang here, Avatar in the background is different, I believe. There's Momo, Ozai in kind of silhouette. Some of this is imagery we've seen before. Some of it seems to more be from the show, just kind of blended together, but pretty nice. There was also this, which is kind of really cool, in a circle, kind of like a symbol. All the characters, pretty much most of the main ones. And this is where you can see like they are using stuff from kind of all over the franchise here. Stock imagery, older stock imagery, sort of some of the newer stuff, but overall nicely put together. And then obviously the most notable one here is this, which we will come back to in a second, which actually has some information about the whole thing. So we started with the website here. So straight away, you can go on the website, you can put your email in to be notified basically of news about the game. Now, I'm not sure how much they'll have to say until the Kickstarter goes live, but you know, I put my email in to find out about it, and we'll go from there. So they have here, relive the saga of The Last Airbender, take control of your favorite character, and team up with your friends in the adventure board game. Travel through the world of Avatar as you develop your bending mastery, explore the 4 nations, and battle dangerous enemies. So 1 to 4 players. That's nice. A lot of these kind of big board games that are trying to do a little bit more complex stuff with the mechanics has to be multiplayer. But I actually really like that it is 1 player. So you can choose to go on like a solo quest if you want. It is cooperative if you do play with multiple players, and they're saying it will take 45 to 60 minutes to play. Now, we'll get into something the kind of flyer said is in a minute. Here's a look at everything's a mock-up here, of course, because obviously the game is going to be kickstarted. I assume it will absolutely surpass whatever goal they have set. So I'm assuming it is going to actually happen. And I say they're pretty confident of it. So this is what they're predicting a lot of it will look like. And we'll get into analyzing this image in a second. But it gives you a sense for like, it is a proper board game. Like there's some dice here, tokens, some little plastic kind of like flags to represent occupied areas. There's cards here. There's a kind of guide / adventure book. Pretty good. So choose your character. They have some of the main characters here in some pretty nice images. Like, we've seen, I think, this Sokka and Toph before. I don't remember, like this Katara. Is it somewhere in one of the RPG books? It might be, but it doesn't immediately come to mind. But it's a nice image of Katara for sure. Nice image of Aang. Here's a cool thing about like one of the unique aspects. Unique upgrading bending cards. So replicates the unique energy of each bending type through immersive abilities that grow in power as you make your way through the world of Avatar. So you can see here with this one, we'll wait till it gets back around to 1. So you can see here 1 water whip, 2 water grenade, 3 razor lash, and 4 ice shards. And Katara's in the middle of this. So by the looks of it, you get sort of like elemental energy tokens, and you need a certain amount of each to use this. So So I don't know, is there anything we can figure out from this? So one is it's highlighting what a water and a fire, there's a line, and then there's a highlighted 1 water below, 2 water, 3 water, 4. So is that just saying like the level, like you have a level marker on the bottom and then the top is sort of like the amount of energy it costs? And is it going to be some sort of like Magic the Gathering-esque thing where it's like, well, it's a water ability, so you need 2 water, but you can use any other one to do the rest? We'll see, but that's a kind of cool mechanic of just you twist the card, kind of cool. Battle dangerous enemies, so they have Azula, Ozai, Yuya and Archer, minion. The Serpent is a sub-boss. Flopsy is a sub-boss, and Combustion Man is a sub-boss. Okay. So, let's see here. 15 heart, so 15 health, 4 power attack, 4 shield, take 1 stun. The Serpent is 30 health, and what's this? 7 swords. So, is there a difference between 4 next to the number swords and then one of this? Like, is this a thing where like this is 4 attack, but this is 7 1 power attacks or something like that? Or at a certain point did they just do it this way because he doesn't have an effect? Where there's space, they just put the numbers on it, the image multiple times on the card. Flopsy's 24, 3 swords, 1 stun. Combustion Man is 20, 12 swords with some sort of a symbol here. Damage character takes 1 burn, 1 fatigue, and 1 stun. Makes sense that there's a lot going on there for a combustion bending attack. And then Zuko here. I'm guessing, based on the image, that... Is this the Zuko character card, or is this like the Zuko like boss card? Because they're saying enemies here, and they're highlighting Zuko. So Zuko, 9 something or other, 2 something or other, 8 something here. Flame Torrent is like energy, and then this is interesting. Sword, sword, sword times 3, and then you have other stuff going on here, different abilities. 40 health. We'll get to analyzing the other image in a minute, but full-size maps. This is really cool, actually, here. From the streets of Ba Sing Se to the depths of the Fire Nation, explore the world of Avatar with 8 beautifully illustrated map boards. And when you put all of the map boards together, you're going to have this giant, slightly more detailed map of the world. Now, immediately, what I would say is, I personally, my preference would be put some names on these maps. Like, you may think it is obvious where everywhere is, and most people will know the very obvious places, but especially when you start to talk about, like, Earth Kingdom towns that are not, like, Omashu, and so on, not many people are going to be immediately familiar with where everything is. Now, I'm assuming the book probably has some sort of a thing where it maybe has the map with the names on it, but I think it's maybe something they should consider doing. Now, I get it, this is this kind of really cool art thing, they might not want to put names over everything, but for it to be an effective map, I feel it probably needs to have the kind of markers on it in some way. So, unleash powerful bending abilities, that's fine. Team up with your friends, fully cooperative for 1 to 4 players. Develop your character, higher levels of bending, collect rare items, and upgrade your character throughout the game. So that seems really cool. Full-on adventuring here. Teach in minutes, and it offers tactical depth and replayability for all ages. And then, most importantly here, coming to Kickstarter Q1 2023, of course. So, this is where we'll go back into this. So, here's what it says on the flyer. So, notably, it says a 1 to 5 player game here. It says 1 to 4 on the website. So, I don't know if that's maybe some change that has happened. They say adventure game with over 5,000 possible encounters. And then this is very interesting. Through standalone episodes or the 40-hour story-driven campaign. Yet the website says that a game of this will take 45 to 60 minutes. Now, maybe that's what they mean for like one of these episodes. That does that just mean there's the potential to play like 40 games of this to complete the story, or what? So again, Kickstarter in 2023. This is where the website address obviously came from. Sign up to be notified. So in general, seems pretty good. Then let's look at this. Unfortunately, I couldn't immediately find a bigger version of this image. So this is just a really small image from the website, sort of like slightly zoomed in. Because if I zoom in more, I suppose this is sort of okay. It just gets a little bit like super pixelated. But okay, what's going on here? The box. Interestingly, the book here, spiral bound, as you can see here, seems to have some nice information. It's fairly thick, so this is going to be your guide through the whole thing, I guess. Some cards in the background, a bunch of Fire Nation marker tokens. If we zoom out a little bit here, so you can see here you have dice. These look like, what, 12-sided dice, I guess. They're definitely not 6, and it doesn't look like it's a full-on like D20. So it's probably like a 12-sided dice here in different colors. It seems like, you know, Anne gets the yellow one, Katara gets the blue one, Toph gets the green one, and then there, I guess, is just a white one to act as the maybe general dice for other stuff going on. There's Fire Nation markers over here, like tokens. Interestingly here, you'll note this here, if you can't quite see it while I do here. You can see just about here, the little Appa icon is kind of cool. I guess this is what you use to signify where you are on the board, which is kind of cool, because I guess you are ultimately playing the Team Avatar story. So I'm guessing that's what they mean by the 40-hour thing, where like if you want to play the entire events of ATLA, it'll take 40 hours, I guess. But we'll see what's going on there. And then yeah, this is what confirms that the whole like 8 map boards. You can see the one here just has like the sort of top of the Southern Water Tribe and a bunch of the islands nearby. Then you have the kind of coast of the Earth Kingdom, and like the tail of the Fire Nation is like just about like up here. So there's that. And then the other one here, you can see has you know, a different kind of part of the map. So that's kind of interesting, that I guess like if you don't have a ton of space, you can just decide that, okay, this section of the story is only going to be set on like this map and maybe a little bit on this map. You don't have to have the entire like giant 8 thing out on the board the like entire time. Which you can see they obviously put the full map together here. Is this image any bigger? Yeah, they seem to have quite small images on the website here. But yeah, the other one looks like it was a part of the sort of basically like kind of like Bin-Ur kind of type area, effectively. You obviously have in and around where like the Northern Air Temple is, Northern Water Tribe, and stuff like that, Northern Earth Kingdom. So that's interesting. It's like they're going a little bit more detailed. They're not trying to cram the whole Avatar world map onto like one somewhat small board. That is good for a game where you want to specifically mark out where each location is and what is and isn't taken over. So seems very cool so far. Obviously from the image, you don't immediately see these like bending cards anywhere, because these all seem like normal, like, okay, character cards. These maybe are probably like the item and effects and stuff like that. The technique cards over here looks like other characters and bosses and so on. So where are the bending cards in the image? Again, it's all prototype stuff. We'll see more of this when they actually, like, I guess, launch the Kickstarter in early 2023. But my impressions on this so far is that this seems pretty good. I would overall say that, like, okay, look, they're going for ATLA. I understand why. It's the really popular one and so on. But I think the tide is beginning to shift a little bit, and people kind of would like to see Korra included in some of this stuff. And it feels weird to leave it out, especially as you're going into an era where people don't just want Avatar and Korra, they also want like Kyoshi and other avatars. So doing a big project like this and deciding to only focus on one aspect of the franchise is growing a little kind of tiresome. Now, they might have like a bonus extra sort of thing where you can maybe include Korra stuff in this, but I suppose it would technically require them to update the map to have like Republic City on it, depending on exactly how it works. So if we just look at the map here, I suppose, well, Republic City is basically like here. I suppose technically, if they were to do it, they'd only really need to change one, maybe two boards for the Korra era. Because like halfway is like here, and Republic City is obviously like somewhere here around this area. So yeah, I think it's possible if they wanted to do a Korra era that could work. Because that's, for the most part, one of the only areas you really need to change the map, especially if you don't have the location specifically marked. That's the only thing that I find interesting about this. Final thing is just, I suppose, Bad Crow Games, the company doing this. What's their history? Because obviously it's going to be a Kickstarter, and if you have backed the Legends RPG, you'll obviously note that there's been a lot of somewhat frustration because of delays and stuff like that. Of course, we have the digital stuff at this point, and we'll find out more about what's going on with the physical items in the coming days, I assume, when they get to their next update. But definitely the way they've communicated about delays has been all right, but not like amazing. And obviously it has been very heavily delayed. So Bad Crow Games, their history with Kickstarter is that they have created 3 games. So you can see here, they did this Mech Command one, they did Company of Heroes, and then they did a second edition of Company of Heroes. Now you can see the backers went up every time. They went from having 1,000 in this one, 4,500 here, to 5,500. They went from, I think, 150,000 raised with this one, which was a success. They raised, what was it, 800 and something thousand for this, and then this one was 1.2 million. And they're in the process of sort of, I think, fulfilling this one currently. So they've had successes, 3 times in a row, enough that like they got even more on a second edition of a game they've already done, which is somewhat interesting. Now, obviously, the idea is, unless they super heavily price people out of the game, this Avatar one should do very well. Like, look at how much money the Legends RPG made, given that at its core, that game is a book. Like that's the key thing to it. Like, that game is a book. Of course, there are physical items that people wanted, but at its core, it's a book. This is going to have, I think, a little bit more of an appeal because you're getting a book as well, but then you're getting all this kind of cool like imagery stuff on cards and stuff like that, which obviously is kind of collectible type stuff. It feels like they maybe have probably a little bit more ground to work with when it comes to sort of stretch goals and stuff like that. So I can see this doing pretty well. The only thing is that if you look at the updates here, it does seem like there is some frustration about stuff. Like in August, they sent like some surveys out. There's a lot of, haven't received a survey yet. Maybe it's not being communicated that well. But again, they have successful stuff. It just seems like in general, most Kickstarters have delays of some sort, unless it's like stunningly organized, and especially with physical stuff in the kind of COVID era, it can be tricky. So I wouldn't immediately look at that sort of like track record and be like, don't want to back this. I think a lot of it is going to come down to the pricing and so on. So just as an idea, they have like an upgrade kit if you got the first edition for what, 50. They're saying you can get the core set for the second edition for $99, and 4-player bundle, new products bundle. So this is obviously, again, that more has a lot of miniatures and stuff like that. So I'm wondering, will they get the price a little lower down, because with the Avatar game, it just looks like kind of a lot of paper, like a lot of cards, a few dice, a few kind of like plastic flags, but it doesn't look like they're having to like mold like an insane amount of like miniature plastic things. Now maybe stretch goals might be some miniatures for like Aang, Katara, Sokka. That might be something they do, because I suppose the expectations would have to be that if this takes off, if they get their marketing right on this, if we just search here, everything sorted by most funded, obviously you have crazy ones like the Brandon Sanderson one, which has done like 40 million or something like that. And we scroll down, 6, 9, 10. Avatar Legends is the 11th most backed thing, most funded thing on Kickstarter with 9.5 million. Now, what I would say, I think Magpie did a great job marketing this game, in that it was hard to, in a way, avoid knowing about this game at the time when the Kickstarter went live. Will they be able to, with this one, market it enough that it does as well as that? Because I think theoretically, this should do better in some ways, just because it is an actual game, and it's not as reliant on that sort of RPG style, where you sort of need a really good GM to make that game work effectively. Whereas this, the rules are all there. It seems like a lot of fun. They are doing ATLA, the popular bit. So it feels like it's all here for this game to succeed. So I'm keeping my eye out on this one. Like I said, I put my email in here to get updates on this, and I'll obviously try and keep you guys informed as news comes out about it on the channel. But other than that, that has been the video. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this Avatar Adventure board game. How do you like the look of it so far? What the mechanics seem to be? The ATLA focus? Just thoughts on everything. Or has the Avatar Legends role-playing game maybe made you kind of think again about going in on Kickstarter for another game? So there's that. I suppose one final thing, very, very quick, if I can find it here quickly. Basically, it seems like this game, if I scroll down enough to the shipping information, I think it's just past this. Yeah, they do have the whole customs friendly thing, so no extra customs charges. That's always a good thing for like international people on these projects, to see that, okay, even on a sort of similar kind of board game thing, the shipping doesn't seem to be wildly expensive in the grand scheme of things. So just be aware of that overall. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.